Welcome, welcome. I'm Dee, and this is the Unguided Life where I am taking it one day at a time, bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. We need to close out our February budget. Yes, we need to do all the things to, to close out our budget. And time waits for no one. As you can see, we're closing out February. We already planned our March budget. So, yeah, we need to see what's going on. So, like last time, I am first going to close out my digital budget, which I use the format from Tasha with TashaLovesLife.com and Mind Your Money here on YouTube. I use that to keep track of the expenses and income to see where I'm at. And then we close out paper to pen or pen to paper, shall I say, so we can have a comparison of what I expected to happen and what actually happened. So let's go ahead and get into the digital budget, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we need to reconcile our digital budget. So this is an Excel spreadsheet. The worksheets that's in the spreadsheet includes a mashup between the annual budget tracker that I purchased from Tasha with TashaLovesLife.com or Mind Your Money here on YouTube, as well as some other tabs here that I created for my budget. The only two that we're going to focus on is expenses and income. Okay. Another thing is when the expense total, the actual amount, is different than the budget, I'm going to update that and talk about that. If there's no change, I'm just going to say same and move on. Start with giving $708. Why that changed? I had some money come in that I didn't have to allocate to any expenses, but I did take 10% of that and apply that to giving, and that's how we got our giving category to go from the 334 to the 708. For auto insurance, it was $230, and that was because I did receive a discount for combining my renters and auto. But as we can see, the auto went skyrocketed up for the next 6 months. So did that really help? I don't think so. Car note, $228. The difference is simply because I refinanced my vehicle and I have a lower interest rate and I have a lower payment. Credit cards, I never put an amount here, not even the minimum, because these amounts can change from month to month. So, what I'm going to do is just put in what I actually paid and I talk about if it was the same as what I budgeted. So, credit card number one was 99. Credit card number two is actually not due until March budget, so that's zero. Credit card number three is 59. Credit card number four is $94. And there was no change with that, so that was good. So all that was the same. Electric. Long story short, I paid February and March in February. How that happened? Simply, I guess my memory. I forgot that I went in and told Duke Energy to draft February bill on its due date. So the day after its due date, the 15th, I realized I never received a notification that I made a payment. So I went to the website. I looked at to see the activity. Said last payment was January. Then I went to go make a payment, and usually if there is a payment there or scheduled, it'll show red header, nothing. So I went and made a payment. Checked my email, received the email saying, "Hey, thank you for your payment. All is well." The 16th come, and I received my notification for my March bill. And when I open it, it says negative $88 and it says thank you for your March payment. Yes, y'all. So when I went to go check the actual website, it showed that there is a payment that posted on the 14th, the due date, and a payment that posted on the 15th. I feel like so crazy. So I paid twice, and luckily I had something to cover that. So we all good with that. For internet's actually due in the beginning of March bill, so we don't consider that. For life insurance, it's actually $38. This really is no difference. It's just I forgot to update this spreadsheet to reflect the $38 because that's how much it is each month. OnStar is 16. Phone bill was 169. The difference was simply because taxes and surcharges had went down. Renters insurance was paid for the year in January, so we're good with that. Storage is the same. Student loans D is the same. There's no payment for student loans E at this time. TV subscriptions is actually $40 because Stars is not due until the March bill. Value personal property is actually paid for the year, so we're good with that. The water bill was actually $30. Extra debt payment, I was able to make $299 extra. Miscellaneous was $97. So there was a difference. It was $113. $39 was for me to start a program. Well, we know what happened. In the beginning of the month was COVID. And what you don't know, at the end of the month, I actually had to go get my car fixed. It didn't come out of my budget. It didn't have to come out of any of my sinking funds or any of my emergency fund. Luckily, there was money that came in, and I was able to allocate that to that category. So we were good with that. So that $39 would have carried over into March, but I did have an unbudgeted expense, so I applied a portion of that to that expense, and then the remaining is what will be reflected in the bill carryover. So total for miscellaneous is $97. Gym membership. Though I was charged for gym membership on my credit card, I am not paying that off until March because I applied that to the March payment. So annual subscriptions is none. Emergency fund, I didn't put anything from my budget into my emergency fund. For envelope system, it was $540, and then sinking funds was $411. So $4,030 is what was allocated to various categories in my budget. So let's see how that look with the income I budgeted for the month. So based on this, I am over $186. Okay. So let's look at this and see because we know I don't have a negative balance. Income number one, that sources from my employers. So the amount that came in was $3,270. For income number two, it was $153. And then for variable, and variable is simply just side hustles, bonuses, gifts, and any extra. For the year, to stay on track to pay off my vehicle, I said at least need to bring in 500. Last month I didn't make that, but this month I can tell you that I brought in $607 into my budget, and therefore $4,030 is the income that came in. $4,030 is the amount that was allocated out, and we have a zero base budget. I like to make sure in the beginning of my month, every dollar is accounted for. And when I reconcile at the end of the month, I want to make sure every dollar has a place as well. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the other segment so we can close this out and discuss exactly how I feel about my February budget and what my money told about me. We are back, and I hope you enjoy that digital face to face kind of reconciling my month expenses. Okay, so before we do this, we need to look at our spending record because when we left off with our spending record, um, we left off with amounts. I said amounts. I actually said amounts. I didn't even say amounts. We left off with money left in categories. So we need to zero that out. okay? Because we just don't want it sitting there not having a purpose, okay? So first thing is with the gas, I'm going to keep this money in the gas budget. I'm not going to put it anywhere else. So we're just going to carry that over to, let's do March. And let me just put, I don't have that much space. So that is 0 now. So we have closed that out. And so with the food budget, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry that over as a rollover into March. So we're just going to put rollover and then minus 941, and then we're going to zero that out. And we're going to do the same for personal. So it currently does not have a place. What we're going to do when we do our income breakdown, we're going to give it a place. So because we do zero budget, so every dollar that comes in or every dollar that I have, I make sure it has an assignment. Ain't no money just sitting there. So that's what we have there. So we zero that out. So we know that it's closed. And so I'm going to set that to the side. So here, I had already closed this out, but I do see where I just don't like those numbers. So in my income breakdown, I want to make sure I apply this amount, like I make up the difference to get this out to an even amount. Okay, so I'll work on that, but I did officially close that out. This is the unbudgeted portion, and I did check. Now, because I was rounding up and down, well, I was using the rounding rules. I don't know if I keep saying rounded up and down. I just used the rounding rules. This amount is not actually what's in the account, so I'm just going to write a note here. Is the actual amount is actually $30. Okay, so that is what we'll be carrying over into our income breakdown. So that is good. And then here, we still have that $39. We're just going to, of the $39, we did make that payment. So that's 39 minus 22.53. Okay, so that left 16.47. So 16.47, 9.41, 14.86. So let's add that all together. That is $40.74. That will be part of the rollover. So I'll count for that in the income breakdown, and anything else in any other accounts that I reconcile, it'll go there as well. So we have closed out our spending record, our sinking funds, our unbudgeted. And so now we can go back to here, because now we need to go and determine how we did for the month, okay? So what we know that I brought in $4,030, okay? Of that $4,030 for giving, I actually was able to give $708. I didn't send anything to savings. For housing, it was $932, and the difference between that is simply because of that extra payment that I discussed. That's such crazy to me, and that never happened before, and I feel like it was a hiccup on their website. I feel like it was a hiccup, and instead of them copying to their hiccup of they had made a mistake where somehow the payments or the future scheduled payments disappeared, they just, it's nothing we can do. Okay, let's move on. For insurance, it was actually $284, and that's because the auto insurance, I had that discount that was applied. Lifestyle. So lifestyle was actually $205. The difference is simply the rounding. I think for No, something went down. I can't remember. Was it the cable? No, because the cable's there. I don't know. It went down $1, but I'm trying to figure out within lifestyle what went down, because we have Hulu, Netflix, storage. Oh, it's the phone. It's the phone. The phone is here. So I think I budgeted 170 and it was actually 169. Okay. So for debt, so the amount is $950 that I put towards debt. That was planned debt and extra debt. And when budgeted debt, I guess, envelope system was actually $540. And then we had the sinking funds at 411. So just the difference is when the money come in, I was able to put towards certain categories. And even though I have that rollover, it's still accounted for because I'm closing out of this budget. So then we talk about the percentage. So the difference in the giving simply was I just gave more. I received some extra money in that didn't apply to my budget, but I still needed to do something with it. So a portion of it I applied to my budget, and then I found ways to give. And so that brought this percentage of my income of 18%. So giving was 18%, savings was 0%, housing was actually 23%. So the reason why it went down is simply because of a small portion of the extra I brought in went towards this category. For insurance, we have that at 7%. So that went down because the amount that was due went down. Lifestyle was actually 5%, and that was just in comparison what came in. Nothing extra went into here, so we were good with that. For debt, it was 24%, so this did go down, and I did still send a good amount to debt, but it wasn't, the extra came in, didn't apply to that. So that's the reason why that went down drastically. And then we have the envelope system at 13%. And lastly, we have the sinking funds, which is at 10%. So what did my money say about me? First and foremost, somewhere you should see where I was with my goals. One goal was to pay for the mileage tracking service, and I decided not to do that because I really not doing that much when it comes to side gigs, and I'm like, there's a free version. Number two is was the bring in 500 extra, and we can tell I was able to bring in, let's see, $539. So we did that. And what else did my money say about me? My money says where my heart is at. My heart was to pay debt, since that's definitely the category that has the highest percentage. But it also says that I'm a giver. So regardless of debt, I'm going to give. I'm going to give. I believe in tithing. I believe in just offering to others. Sometimes it's not monetary, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's monetary, like I have to pay for something to assist someone. Like I have to pay something for myself to assist someone to do something. It's just all over when it comes to giving. That's where my heart was. My mind was to pay off debt. So yeah, that's what I want to say. My mind was to pay off debt, so we were focused, but my heart was to make sure I gave. So let's see, because I supposed to do this in the beginning. What did the yogi tea say? Let your thoughts give hope, guidance, and upliftment to all. I love that. That's what we have. We are officially done with February budget. All right. In the meantime, in between time, peace.